Hello, so today I'll be talking about the three characters I chose from the book Fahrenheit 451. I chose the following three characters: Guy Montag, Captain Beatty, and the Mechanical Hound, and I'll be describing today how they changed throughout the course of the story. We'll begin by starting off with how Guy Montag starts off as a fireman. And in this society, firemen aren't supposed to put out fires, but instead burn books. And Guy Montag actually enjoys this at first by describing it as satisfying and peaceful to him. Most knowledge doesn't exist. Government ban books so people don't gain knowledge and persuade under their control. This is how the dystopian society works in 451. Clarice meets Guy Montag at the station. He is asked questions which he does not have a clear answer to. She asks him, "Are you really happy from your job?" Montag can't give a clear response. This gives a slight change in tempo to the story. He thinks about the question that is asked and really gets confused by it. After another major point occurs that also changes his point of view. The event that occurred was how a lady had gotten burnt alive by flamethrowers because she wouldn't let go of her books. This is a sign of how she had true love and importance to the book and wouldn't let go of it. As the story continues, Montag begins to become more curious about the books. He then decides to secretly read books, even though it is illegal and a big red flag towards the community. His perspective towards everything shifts from his simple lifestyle and his job to questioning his whole life and searching for the truth. By the end of the novel, Montag has completely changed his mind and perspective towards the society. He is no longer the obedient fireman. Instead, he becomes someone who values himself, knowledge, and the world around him. Throughout the novel, Captain Beatty tries to keep Montag under control. He senses that Montag is feeling different and off. Maybe not talk about this one. However, Captain Beatty's character also changes in his stubble way. As Montag becomes more rebellious, Captain Beatty becomes more aggressive and almost pushes Montag to act. During the scene where Montag is forced to burn his own house, Captain Beatty taunts him and provokes him. This ultimately leads to Montag killing Captain Beatty with a flamethrower. Some readers believe Captain Beatty may have wanted this outcome, suggesting that deep down he might have been conflicted or even tired of the society he defended. So while Captain Beatty appears strong and in control, his actions near the end. The Mechanical Hound is the last character and represents something different. It is a robot. The Hound is a robotic dog used by the government to track down and kill people who read books. At the beginning of the story, the Hound already seems to have a strange connection to Montag. It makes him uneasy. Its role in the story becomes more intense. At first, it is just a symbol of fear and controls people. It represents the government with power. In conclusion, these characters, Montag, Captain Beatty, and the Mechanical Hound, each represent different aspects of the society in Fahrenheit 451. Montag shows changes. Captain Beatty represents the system's logical but also impossible hidden doubts, and the Mechanical Hound symbolizes the cold, unfeeling power of technology used to control people. Together, they help show the dangers of a society that suppresses knowledge and discourages independent thought. Altogether, the characters Montag and Clarice show changes altogether, except for much of the Mechanical Hound. As well, the information is described. And thank you all for listening. Later on, he escapes the city and joins a group of people who memorize books to preserve them for the future. His journey is really about awakening and gaining awareness. Now let's talk about Captain Beatty. Captain Beatty is Montag's boss at his work and represents the voice of the government, and hates books as much as the government does.
At first, Captain Beatty seems very intelligent. He actually has a deep understanding of books, and which makes him an interesting and yet unique character to read about. Unlike Montag at the beginning, Captain Beatty knows what the books really mean, but still decides not move that way. Captain Beatty believes that books are meant to cause trouble and arguments because they talk about different opinions and ideas. He argues that by getting rid of books, society becomes more equal and people avoid feeling offended and confused.